All right, welcome everyone. We got another special podcast. We got the man, the myth, Kevin Hart in the building. Kevin, how are you?
How you doing, man? I'm good.
I'm good, man. We're team party. We're in the right place. Things are good. The world's crazy right now. I want to ask you, as someone that does live tours, you travel, you're doing movies, all kinds of stuff. How has COVID impacted you specifically with not being able to kind of be on tour in your normal routine? What have you been up to?
When you say impacted me specifically, I think I don't want to separate myself from everybody else. I think it's impacted us all by just stopping our way of life as we once knew it. But you got to try to find the good in it. So sitting me down and allowing me to spend the time with my family that I've been able to spend and just be present, not be as crazy and as all over the place as I normally am. It's added a big bonus, man. So, granted, I'm extremely excited to get back to work, to get back to my normal routine, but I'm not trying to force it and go against what seems to be the plan of life. So everything happens for a reason. You just got to make the best of it when it does.
Absolutely, and not to spend too much time on this, but it's a complicated issue because you got people saying to shut down, people saying let's go. The economy, it's tricky, right? There's not, it's a lot of imperfect information. Where do you lie? In general, like what's your thoughts on it? I don't want to spend too much time. I'm just curious because it's a big issue.
It is a big issue. I mean, look, I'm not going to take away the seriousness of it because you do have people that have been affected. You do have families that have been affected. So you can't speak in a way that overrides or overlooks that, right? But at the same time, I'm also a person that realizes that life has to go on. Time doesn't wait for anybody. There is no pause button on life. It's going to continue to go. The sun is going to shine and fall every single day. So you got to go and get back to the way that things once were, and of course with some adjustments and trying to be as safe as you possibly can. But our world revolves on people to people engagement. We thrive off of that.
Yeah.
That's the energy of the United States and of the globe in general. It's meeting people, understanding people, and investing in people, with people. It's like it's a thing from family, from friends. That's how we progress, and that's how we go around. It's the way that we move. So to see that be limited and to see people get to a space where they're hesitant about being around others, it's sad. So I'm pro people. I like people. I like to be around people. So I'm all about getting back out and getting to what we used to do. That's my perspective.
I like it. I'm with it. I align with that. Tell me a bit about a little background with poker for you because you're sponsored now. Obviously, you're U.S. based. I'm U.S. based. We're both with Party Poker, and we've played a little bit of poker, some same tournaments. We've played a bit of cash together. We have a lot of mutual friends. I know you dabble with some guys frequently that I know well, and I'm just curious, like, where did you first find that love for poker? When was it when you got introduced to poker?
God, man, you're going years back. You're probably going 15 years back. When I first fell in love with it. I remember I used to play the little small tournaments at the Hustler Casino, and the big deal was trying to play a game and learn a game. But it was I realized I can just sit here at this table and have a good time with people that I didn't know and you get to know. And it's something that time just seems to pass while doing.
Right.
And it's harmless. You're out of trouble. You're minding your business, and your biggest enemy is your own mind and the way that you think and the way that you improve. It's all based off of you.
Right.
It's something you can kind of control. So over the course of years, I've just grown more in love with it, just from having the opportunity to meet new and more people, travel with it, and actually play with my peers consistently. It's a hobby like no other, and I'm more than in love with it. It's everything. It's the best shit in the world. It's my happy place. It's where I have a clear head. It's where I have fun. So we all need that. We all need that outlet.
Is
And for me, it
is
came. It
Is this
came.
you? I don't mean to interrupt you, but is this your Hendon Mob? I thought this was a different Kevin Hart, but I see a couple results here. So you played a couple tournaments and had some of these scores. It looks like it was in LA, so maybe it is you.
That
Is
is
that
me.
okay? I thought it was a typo. But
Yeah.
that shows the love. You're in there grinding. You got the 150. You're in these you're playing. So and I will say, like I said, I know you love it. It's not just like I think people see Kevin Hart sponsored by Party Poker. It's like, oh, he's just signing another deal or something. But no, like I know that you believe in the stuff you do, right? You have a lot of
Exactly.
options, and in Party Poker, you got involved and you're there, and you actually, I mean, you love it. This isn't just like a thing. Like it's not like you don't know the rules. You know how to check raise. You know bluffs. You're working on your game, and it's awesome, man. That's really cool to see that you're that passionate about an awesome game, and
Well, you
it's
said it. What you just said is the most accurate. I don't just do things just to do them.
yeah.
I'm not big on what's the word where you just attach your name to stuff
Yeah.
just because you can. I don't like that. I'm not a NASCAR. I don't do a bunch of stickers on my hood.
Right.
If I can't if I can't stay true to it, or if I can't really speak on it strongly, then it's not for me. It's not my cup of tea. And in this case, I love what the world of party poker is, and I love what they represent. And once again, it goes back to what I was just saying. I'm big on people. This is something that is it highlights and specializes in connectivity with people, because no matter where you're from around the globe, when you sit at a table, there's a universal language that people can understand within poker. And if you don't understand the game and you chose to learn the game, you can learn to love it, and once again surround yourself with other people that feel and do the same.
Yeah.
uh, Regardless of race, gender, anything. It's a dope thing that you can do with eight other people at a table. So for one, I think that's amazing. I think that that's a big bonus. And for me in my life and where I am in my career, it's one of the few things that I can do where people just let me be and have a good time.
Yeah, that brings me to another point. I saw a bit where I think it was Joe Rogan. I'm not sure now, but it was something where you're talking about saying no. And someone of your, you grew up in Philly, born and raised. I love Philly, man. That's where my dad is from. His dad worked at I think your mom was actually, did she work at UPenn at some?
Yeah,
Yeah, that's where my
yeah,
dad went to UPenn. His dad was a professor there. I go to Philly all the time. Love the city. You are Mr. Philadelphia.
yes,
You
sir.
embody it, and it's pretty amazing to see you rise from there and where you're at now, and just saying no to people, right? Because you get offered everything, this and that, do every deal. How do you make those decisions? Do you have a team? Do you have a manager? Like, where do you get to draw the line? Because you must just get so many different offers. And the bit you did was about no. You're like, I just say no. Like someone says something, I don't want to do it, I just say no. I thought I love that because it's hard. It's like at a certain point you always want work, right? You want
Yeah.
stuff, you're grinding, you get to where you want to be, where you can turn stuff down. And at some point you have to sort of start. You can't do everything. It's just not possible. So how do you say no? And who ultimately is your team that makes these decisions?
Well, I love that you're using the word team because I believe in that so much. You don't
Yeah.
do anything. You grow, and as you grow, people grow with you. So I love to empower my team. I love to allow my team to evolve, and as I evolve, they should be along the same line. So I can't do everything. I don't have the time. I just it's not possible. So the things that I do choose to do, I'm giving it a lot of my time when I do it, and
Right.
the I don't feel like I can give 100% of me, then it's something that I just don't feel like I can do at all. And my team understands that. So, there's a filter system that things have to go through before they eventually get to me. And that's a crazy filter. But the people the people that are doing that are people that I trust to help me make those decisions. So, at this point, they've been with me for 15 to 18 years. You know the things that I like versus the things that I don't. You know what would grab my attention versus the things that wouldn't. You know where I am with my brand and what acts as things that can only elevate. You know, we want to constantly progress, not digress. So if things don't put us in that position, then it's hard for them to get my interest.
For sure. And when you like a concept though, you've done a lot of different you've worn a lot of different shoes now. Actually, I believe were you a shoes salesman, or you were, what was the first job you had? Because I read some notes and I saw some stuff, and I was interesting because I want to know, like, did you actually have to like quit your job, or were you sort of working and then doing the stand up stuff? Because I heard stuff, you got thrown chicken at you, like crazy stuff when you started out. You got booed off the stage, you know, all this stuff, which is crazy to think about and looking back now so long ago. But when was that? When was the moment when you sort of like, did you almost give up? Was it really insanely tough? Like, what kept you going, and when did you get that moment where you knew you were going to be successful?
You know what? It was never giving up. That was never the thing. That was never the question or the want. You know what I mean? It wasn't about giving up. It was more about me saying, I got to figure this shit out because I don't like to lose. So when you do lose, you know, how are you at that loss? Are you defeated? And are you a person that takes it and takes the L and just never gets back up? Or are you like, fuck that? I got to go after mine at the highest level. And I've
Right.
always a fuck that type of guy. So through the L's that I've taken in the beginning stages of stand up, if I'm getting booed, if I'm getting chicken thrown at me, you know, it made me stronger. It made me better. Philadelphia is responsible for a lot of that. Philadelphia, New York, because you got to have thick and tough skin to make it out of there. My coworkers at my sneaker store, City Sports Philadelphia, they're the reason why I actually went on stage. It was them telling me, "You funny, you should try it." And when they
That's
told me
awesome.
that, and I tried it, I fell in love with it, and I instantly knew that I couldn't have a second option. There couldn't be like a plan B. I couldn't do that. So I just decided to quit my job. I said, I'm going to do this. I need to be able to do it full time, and I got to figure it out. And I told my mom that plan. She supported it, and the rest is history. I kind of hit the ground running and never looked back.
So I just want to ask then, when you got your first gig, it was a show, I believe. I forget the gentleman's name. Gave you a look. I was just to do your first like TV show. Was that like your big break though? Because like, that was like this was a 1 season show. You got put on. Was that like the first moment where you like got a real sort of gig, like where you're getting paid for something?
That was where I was like, okay, this is it. It's going to happen right now. I got somebody that I'm traveling with. I'm making a little bit of money. It was nothing, but you got to remember, something in stand up can be very little.
Right.
It doesn't have to be much.
Jude
And
Apatow, was that his name? Jude Apatow.
He's talking about Judd Apatow.
Yeah.
Judd Apatow, he's a big producer. And he gave me a pilot back in the day. And he had a TV show that was on, and he gave me a guest starring spot on a TV show. It was the small things, but those small things acted as big wins. For me, in general, just anything that came from stand up acted as a dose of what the future could be. So if there was any television, any level of segue within career, like stand-up comedy got me to a place where I jumped at it. And I got quite the few, but I was really putting the work in. I was really grinding on that stand-up comedy side, and I was taking my lumps. I was taking my lumps because there's no money. I was getting paid in food for the bulk of the time in the
Yeah.
beginning, food spots, and when it wasn't a food spot, it was $5 or $10. Like it was a thing. It was a struggle
Right.
coming to stand-up comedy in the beginning.
Yeah, I watched the Don't F This Up. My wife and I loved it. Very, very, very well done. So congrats on that. That was really an in-depth look. Got to kind of see the journey. What are you most excited about at the time? Because right now, I mean, I see, I would put yourself and Gary Vee, two people that I look up to, and I see you guys just kind of do everything. And a lot of people like to say focus on one thing and be the best. You know, I kind of see you as, you know, you're doing this, you got podcasts, you're doing radio shows, you got a book, you got movies, you're doing all these different things. You're kind of doing everything, and it's sort of like Gary Vee too. I see him just kind of doing everything, and what would be your advice to someone that says like you should do one thing and do it well, or sort of spread yourself all over? And what's sort of your take on that? Because you seem to do a lot of everything.
Yeah, I mean, look, it depends on your want and your needs. I don't think my way is for everybody, and I don't think everybody else's way is for me. I
Right.
think you have to determine what it is that you want. And for me, I like to have as many things in the fire as I can.
Yep.
And I just feel like I got a young attitude, young spirit, and I'm vibrant. And as long as that's that, I should try to maximize my potential to the fullest while having this, because it's not always going to be this. Things are going to slow down. I'm going to slow down,
Right.
and I'm not going to be able to. So while I can do, while I literally love not only what I'm doing, but the potential of things that are around it or surround it, that's big. You don't take that for granted. It doesn't have to be this way. And when you understand that, it's better, because there is no gray area. I know a lot of unhappy people
Yeah.
that are doing what people think would make them happy, but they're not happy. There's something that's not happy within them.
Right.
So when I get to push myself and do the most, and I manage and handle that correctly, it makes me happy.
I love it. What phase of your life would you say you're in right now? One of our mutually very good friends, Bill Perkins, he's got his new book, Die with Zero. He talks about phases of life. You got your kids' life. At certain pockets, your different parts. You're single. You're married. You're older. You can only do certain things. Sort of what you're referencing, right? Your folks at this time of your life, you're able to grind. You're able to push. What phase are you in right now? Like, are you in your peak? Is this like, do you see yourself kind of slowing down in a few years, or are you just getting going? Like you're 40, right? 40 and change.
I'm 41.
Yeah, that's
The goal with me is that when I do decide to bow out, just to do it and be on top when it's done.
hmm
Right? Like, I don't want to wait until things are on a downhill or decline and then leave the business because I have no choice.
right.
I really look at it as I'm in my prime. I have a high understanding for what I'm doing and how to do it. And it's it's comfortable, right? Like I'm comfortable, but I always push myself to find that reason for the oomph, for the next level, the next thing. But it's definitely getting to a point now, especially mentally, where I go, this is it. I did it. Right? Like I've achieved a lot. I'm very blessed, very fortunate. What's the ceiling that I'm looking for? Trying to define that, trying to put some verbiage on that. What is the ceiling?
Right.
And after acknowledging whatever it is, getting that thing and then being done, or coming as close to getting that thing as possible
Yeah.
and then being done.
I wanted to ask you for some advice or so learning what you've had. You've got 4 children now, one on the way, 3 children, I believe, and a 2 year old or three. Is he three now? Four?
Dude, he's gonna be three. I got a 15, a 12 about to be 13, and a 2 that's about to be 3, and one on the way.
Okay, so
Big,
I
big
have
out.
I have a 16-month-old son, and just kind of understanding how that is with the time. How do you decide if you want to, I shoot a movie, you're doing this, you got these projects, and then you have time with your kids. Like, how do you separate and balance like family, being present, being able to be engaged, but also be the best, the top of your career and stuff? Anything that you've sort of like, do you put your phone away when you're with the kid? Like, what are some like tips or things that you do to try to maximize family time and also be so busy?
They're the priority. The older you get, you realize how important your time is with the kids, and nothing should go above that. There were points in my career where I realized that I was married to my career, dating my family, and that has to be in reverse. It's good to have the hustle. It's good to have the ambition, but after things fall in place, after you've had that,
Yeah.
and 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 displayed that at the highest level, you have to go, okay, now I'm changing it up. I'm only going to do that's it.
Right.
And
It can be hard though, right? Because once you get the taste of the top and you got the success, and it's always another exciting or new opportunity. It is. I think that's why it's so important to say no, right? You got to make some. You can't just do everything, because if you don't do stuff halfway, if you're doing everything 100%, you can't do really everything 100%. So I think that's one of the things. You got to really make some cuts and choices, and just focus at some point. Tell me a bit about it's nowadays, as being a comedian, being very in the you're public, you're on social media. How do you find it is, like, obviously the Oscar debate was pretty crazy to me, looking at it, just it didn't sit right with me how that all shook out. Being able to just like be, back in the day, comedians, like, people said all kinds of anything, when nowadays it feels like, it's a 20-year window. It's like you get pulled up, stuff gets said or put out of context. How are you able to be a comedian, be at the top of your craft, and not, and kind of, do you like worry about, it's almost like you have to worry about what you say or how you say it, especially if it's on like a message and it's not conveyed right. Like, how do you deal with that? Because it seems nowadays it's very tricky, and from
well,
what
it
it appears.
is. I mean, look, we're in a time where everybody has something to say. Opinions are flying left and right, and being in a pandemic and people not doing nothing didn't help any, because that time that's in the house or in the home is now spent with just constant communication and back and forth
Yeah.
with whomever, from the world to friends to relationships, whatever it may be. Um, for me, I just try to understand and respect as much as I can, right? And I think if you understand and respect, then you'll be okay. You can't be oblivious, and you can't think that you're above. And I think that's what's been helping me. That's what's given me the hindsight to still create, still write, still be on my comedy grind, but just being respectful while doing it. I think it's very selfish to act as if you're not, and you can still be funny. It's not like you can't be funny.
Right.
You can still be funny. Just do it respectfully. That's what's helped me.
Yeah, because there's I don't know, obviously, I don't know how closely you're following poker gossip news. This whole Negreanu Polk thing got a little out of hand. Daniel was actually banned from Twitch for some stuff he said, like, banned. So I mean, it just seems like, yeah. Where do you think on that? Like, when it comes with the people and back and forth kind of feuding, like, where's the line is it sort of what you're saying about respect? You got to respect someone. You
Well,
can make jokes, because this is like, it's kind of crazy how this is transpired with here, and seeing people get banned from platforms and whatnot. It's
it's
prevalent in
tough.
poker.
It's tough, but what my opinion on the whole ban or cancel side of it, I don't think there's no education that comes from that. I think the education has to come from finding a solution, right? There's a problem, and after a problem happens, then there's the attempt to solve the problem. And after solving the problem, there should be something learned about it, from both sides. And after you learn whatever it is that you learn, you move on, and people know to not go back or not do things that were done that caused a high level of hysteria. But the attitude of you did wrong, now you're done forever, it's just not something that I agree with, or that I have agreed with.
Yep.
People are human, they fuck up, and hopefully not do it no more.
Yeah. Tell me a bit about your accident, because this was you were at the last pics you had before the accident. You're at your house, it's like the happiest of times. It's light, you're at a pool, it's nice. Next thing you know, you see on the news, it's an accident. You're off the grid for a while, 10 days in a hospital. I mean, what did that do for you in terms of kind of awakening? And obviously Kobe Bryant, rest in peace. Like, life is just like that. It's obviously a high profile celebrity, someone, it's publicized. It happens all the time. People die, people, get in crashes, people get sick. But when it's someone of a certain stature, it sort of hits home, and the whole world talks about it, and it sort of brings it to light. So, with that for you, I mean, you can't really get closer than that. I mean, that's inches, that's different? Like, well, it just could have happened differently, right? Could have been,
It puts life into perspective. I'll tell you that much. Like, you're just not in control. You can think you're in control, but at the end of the day, you're not. So some of the things that used to drive you, and some of the things that used to rile you up and get your blood boiling, those things don't really matter as much anymore because you know how easy it is to not be here,
right.
to not have anything to think about because you saw death or you got as close as anyone could get to death. And it's not about fear, it's about reality. So that changed my perspective and that changed my reality. That's
Do you remember the actual accident? Like, did you walk out of there on your own? Did someone drag you out? Like, do you remember thinking like I'm a lot? Like, were you like thinking you were dead at the moment? Do you remember like how crazy even like what happened actually?
I don't even remember the accident. I woke up, I'm in the ambulance.
Oh wow.
I'm in the ambulance, and the first thought that I actually had was, "Am am I okay?" And my wife was there, and you don't know. I don't know what's what. Like you can't even put it together. You don't even know. And then next thing I know, I'm having a discussion about my spine and how close I was to being paralyzed. Like it's literally that scary. Like you were a half an inch, quarter centimeter from being paralyzed. Like that's shit that you never expect to hear. That's shit that you can't plan. You don't even see that or foresee that. So when it does happen, it's like, what the fuck, man? It was the scariest. It was the scariest time of my life. That hospital and really being taken care of because I couldn't move. I couldn't move.
Yeah.
Couldn't 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 move right, left, nothing. Like I was fucked up, man. I was fucked up bad. So I'm extremely blessed, fortunate to be alive, thankful. Thankful to have the friends and family that I do that held me down during that time. And now coming out of that time, you're just like the things that once were everything are nothing. It's just your priorities are all different. Things have shifted, and rightfully so. So, I know a lot of people now are like, man, goddamn, this whole pandemic's got me this and doing this, and I've been in the house and with the fam every day. I need to get the fuck out of here. I say it too jokingly, but it can also be different.
Right. Yeah.
You
You got
know,
it. Yeah. It's I mean for sure an awakening. On a lighter note, a boxing match. You and Antonio. He was just on the podcast. One of my very very close friends. That whole situation. What can you just? Yeah. I want to hear from your side because I know this lead up. It was you. First of all, let me just premise. You were doing movie shoots. You box. We see you with your trainer, I believe, boss. Right? He's the man. He seems like he keeps you in line. Doesn't he? Keeps you focused. But you weren't training for a boxing match. Antonio sparred for 7 months. He was replicating you. He was taking it to the life or death. You got in there, and there was a pretty long odds. The odds you guys had going, but what he came out on top on that. Can you tell me a little bit? Did that catch you off guard? Did you think there was a chance he could win? I don't want to get his head's too big. I don't want to get him. I don't want to inflate him anymore. But just tell me what happened. Let's just clarify this.
it's one of the worst fights that you'll ever see. Antonio, he didn't train to fight, and he did a strategy that was basically trained to just make me tired and not nothing. He grabbed me. He just grabbed me for 2 rounds, and he leaned on me, and there's about a 45-pound weight difference. So we were just both dead. It was just awful.
Yeah, it's tiring. 3 rounds, 3 minutes is not a joke.
They could just get in the ring and box. No, you got to respect that sport. That is a very tough sport,
Tough.
and each one round will destroy you. So you're looking at two men that don't do it. That after one round, you're searching for air from any and everything. You're You can't breathe.
He did say, I think you got off a flight from, you were just filming Jumanji, you got
Yeah.
back from Hawaii. I mean, he says you're out, you push it in every bit, and he was there rested like Rocky, ready to go. So if you ran it back, I think I like your chances. Is that safe to say? Would you do it again?
Knows that he would never. He knows that he would never get that opportunity to do it because I would really take it serious. But
Right. No, he doesn't want to put it up. He doesn't want to give you the chance for sure. I don't think he would.
he knows he can't fight. Antonio knows
Yeah.
that he has no athletic ability at all. But him, damn, he should have just took me to a prom. That's exactly what we did. He just fucking grabbed me and danced with me, and I called him all types of bitches. I said, "Stop being scared," and he just didn't want to fight. It was a good strategy, though. I think
Yeah.
it was a smart strategy.
No, he knows he's got some strategy. All right, I know you're super tight on time, Kevin. I really do appreciate you coming in. I do want to ask you about fun in poker and with what's going on in poker at the moment. There's some crazy stuff. Like there's sites saying that they're banning some players for too much winning. There's all kinds of stuff happening with party poker doing real names that I think is amazing. No HUDs, like the graphics and you don't have to be a computer science. You see that on replays of YouTube videos. It's intimidating. Kevin Hart wants to come play splash around. You don't want to see the matrix on the screen with the guy checking your turn bet frequency and all that. So that stuff is cleared off. What do you think about the idea of telling someone that they're winning too much on a poker like a site? I mean, this is news to me the other day, so I don't know if you heard of this or thought of this, but this is like supposedly what's going on. Where do you stand on that?
Look, I think the fun in poker is what is secondary or what has been, right? And the story needs to change. The fun in the game needs to be priority. And the only way you make the game fun is to highlight the fun things about it. When you're talking about people winning too much or being banned from this and banned from that, at the end of the day, the point of the game is to win, right? It always has been. So you got some people that are going to be better than others. That's
Right.
just the things in life. I've never been a fan of participant trophies or awards. I think the people that are
Yeah.
the MVPs or the league leaders or point scorers deserve their flowers as such. And
Yeah.
that's why great people are great. If people are too good, you don't play with that person because they're too good.
No, okay, yeah, we're aligned on that. There's a lot of options. You can pick other games. You can go to other places. You're not
Yeah.
forced to play. There's other tournaments or varieties and site whatever. So, all right, good. That's where I'm aligned with that. I want to ask you last thing, Kevin, about hobbies. You collect sports or cars, right? Like you got muscle cars. I saw that with your boys. It's pretty sweet. Given all your, everyone had a specific car. Do you have any other hobbies that you really are into? Have you seen the sports card collection? I'm curious on this because you're into sports. This thing's blowing up. I don't know if you've been following along with this, and it's kind of like as a kid I collected cards, and now they're like getting graded and it's coming back on.
Is into it heavy, so I watch and I see him.
I got
and
I got some crazy stuff. So my buddy is tied in with him directly, who I deal with sports cards, and it's pretty addicting. I gotta say, it's obsessed. It's like it's just fun. Like you get is it a 9? Is it a 10? Is it graded? How is it? But is that something you could get behind, or what other hobbies? What hobbies do you currently like besides?
watches and cars. That's my thing. I'm a watch fanatic and old school cars. I like things that get better with time, and I like things that are a clear example of what I like to do with my time. So as I get older, these are things that can live in my family forever and be passed down and have a significant value. Hopefully, it stays that way, and I'm in a position where I can continue to collect and grab things like this. But this is where I find a lot of happiness. I love to drive. I love to hang out with my guys in our little car club, and these are things that we have now. So it's good. It's special for me.
I love that. Well, listen, if you got to cut me off, I understand. If you tell me if I can get one or two more, you tell me when. I'm not quitting you. I won't quit you. So
I go one more.
You do one more. I'm not going to quit you. So you got to pull the plug on me. All right. People talk about poker at the table. You get to see a lot of characters. You meet a lot of people from all different. Just it's a smorgasbord, right? You get everything. Have you taken anything from poker? Have you used in your routines? Is there any stuff you've picked up from the poker table that you use in your comedy routine or apply?
Working on a project now that I think is going to be special. Not since Rounders have we had a good a good. Well, no, that's not true. I'm sorry. I thought the last one was pretty good. I know
Molly's game?
Molly's Game.
Yeah. Yeah.
Love Molly's Game as well. So it's an intriguing world, and I think a false something that's just highlighting the high stakes space and that world of craziness. It makes for great content. So I'm trying to develop a series that can just be a 10 episode series
Wow.
that highlights something in this space. I've been working on it for a while, but if I nail it correctly, it could be special.
You gotta
It
get our
could be.
boy Teddy Chin in there, man. That's my favorite alias of all time, the Teddy Chin. That cracks me up every time. Last thing, I'm not a question. Just gonna leave with this. I gotta say thank you. I don't think you still have it, but you did at one point. I saw this pop up on Instagram. You were rocking my pop socket that I gave you in the Bahamas. I don't know if you
Yeah,
remember this. I
yeah,
was. I really appreciate that. That brought me. I actually someone messaged me. I don't know how they saw it on there, and it popped up, and I got that, and they said, "Man, Kevin's a fan of the Flow Show." I said, "I don't know about that, but he did like the."
you gave it to me. I was like, "Thank you, man." And I used it instantly.
Yeah,
I remember.
I appreciate that, man. So listen, Kevin, a big fan. A lot of respect for you, and again, I hope we get to play some more cards in the future. I really really appreciate the time, and thank you for coming on with Party Poker. It's great to have you. I guess we'll see each other hopefully on a live stop. I don't know when. Hopefully soon there'll be again, but we'll see when that happens. So thanks again for the time, and we'll see you soon.
All right, you take it easy, man.
Thank
Take
you.
it easy.
Thanks,
All right,
Kevin.
bye.